What's up? First video on YouTube. Show you guys how to change out the fuel filters on a 2020 6.7 Cummins. Figure out, show you guys what tools you need first. Check it out. Alright, here you go. All you gotta do is type in 2020 Cummins on Amazon. You'll get the two fuel filter setups. And then this is all you need. 28mm socket there. I got it on a 3/8 setup. That worked fine. You don't need the extension. It just helped on the back, the water separator. Number 2 Phillips. I just helped on the on the engine bay shutoff valve there, and then an 8mm socket. There's a little 8mm or 5/16 shut off on the water separator in the the rear filter there. So that's all you need. Total, if you buy that socket, I don't know, it's like 10 bucks or something. Then the filters cost about 100 bucks. The dealer's asking for about, 400 bucks or so for this change, so I figure I'd do it myself. There it is. Let's get started. Also, if you guys have any questions during the video or whatever, go to page 405 on your 2020 Ram 2500 owner's manual, and it lays it out pretty easy there. Just doesn't tell you the tools you need, so here you go. Alright, so obviously open up the hood and then locate the engine mounted fuel filter. You can see it right there, and then see the yellow cap down lower. That's going to be your fuel drain valve, so you want to turn it counterclockwise, a quarter turn to drain the fuel. I'll go to the bottom and you can see the hose. So we're underneath the truck now. Located the hose, just to the left side of the transmission oil pan. What I did, I just put an oil drain pan right under the Ford differential, and the stock drain hose just will run low pressure, and at the bottom side it'll just drain from that differential right into the oil pan, and that worked out pretty easy. Alright, next you want to get your 28mm socket on the top side here of your filter cap, and then crack it counterclockwise. Shouldn't be too difficult. Saw some other people use an extension. I just went no extension and went a little bit lower. After the cap's removed, you'll see the fuel filter there, and you want to grab your new fuel filter. It's a horrible picture. See if we can get the light a little bit better. There we go. Take it out of the wrap, get the O-rings on, and then I'll start it back up when I get the new fuel filter in there. Alright, we got the O-ring replaced. That goes on the bottom side of the lid there, and the new fuel filter in there. Just be careful not to mess up any of the threads when you're getting the old O-ring off the existing canister there. Now just going to get the lid back on there, and be sure to tighten your drain valve down there after you drained out all the fuel. Alright, we got the engine mounted one all tightened up. That drain is tight. Now let's go to the underbody one. This is going to be a little bit trickier. Alright, I'll stop it until I get under there. Alright everyone, I'm gonna go to the underbody filter here. We've identified where it's at. This one's gonna be a little unique, because if you can see where there's supposed to be a drain hose, there is not. So I'm just gonna make sure I got some eye protection on and just crack it real slow and then let it drain out down in here into my drain pan. Keep you posted. Alright, let me show you guys what's going on. So I opened up the small drain valve, nothing's coming out. So what I did, I just cracked it with that 28mm socket that I had. So I'm just gonna let it drain out here nice and slow into our drain pan. And I'll get back to you guys when it's out. Just be careful if you're doing it this way and you crack it, you don't want to get fuel everywhere. Alright, as you can see, just cracked it just enough just to let the fuel drain out, and I'll just give it a minute. Alright, once all the fuel's drained, the manual says to open that drain up 1 full turn. I had a pretty good vacuum on mine, so I just unscrewed the bottom of the canister. So once that's done, just grab a glove or something, take it the rest of the way out, and then it'll expose that filter. Watch the little bit of fuel. You just put it right there. Let her drain into your oil pan. Alright, once you fully remove this filter, I'd recommend dumping it over in that drain pan that you got going out there, and you'll see the water and the fuel separated coming out of the bottom of this filter. Now I'm just going to change out, put the new filter in there, and then put the new O-ring that it came with right here. So you can see, flip it around, and then I'll screw it back in. Alright, so I got the new filter in there, the O-ring, and then what I didn't see on this valve there's a 8mm or a 5/16. You could just grab a socket and open it up instead of cracking that all the way open, and that should let all that fuel and water drain out of there. So that would have been a sweet thing to know before I was cracking the bottom of the canister, but it really wasn't that big of a mess just to crack it and let it come out slow. Alright, got the fuel filter canister back into place. Make sure you snug it up. You don't need to crank it too hard. Just make sure that gasket seats in there, and then you have your valve turned back off so you don't have any leaks. Alright everyone, we got both the fuel filters changed. Now we're gonna prime the fuel system so we don't try and crank it dry. All we're gonna do is we're gonna keep our foot off the brake, press the start button, turn it to on, leave it there for 30 seconds, back off, and we're gonna repeat that 3 times to get that fuel pump going. Alright you guys, we primed the fuel system by turning the ignition to on. It's just the start button there twice without pressing the brake. Now here's the moment of truth. There we go. So the priming setup worked, just straight out of the manual there. Now we'll get out here. Just gonna look for leaks. Obviously, nothing there. Look down here, no leaks. Just making sure we closed off those little petcock drains. Look on this backside here. No drainage there either, so we're good to go. Alright, now that we got the engine cranked, last thing we want to do, we want to go to our vehicle info, go to our fuel filter life, and then, you know, go down, reset, want to go yes, click yes, boom, there we go. Everything's reset, good to go. Save yourself about 200 bucks. See.